All right, sixth period, I apologize for not being in class, but this will feel just like class. I'll be talking, and then I'll say, does anyone want to help me? And it'll be really quiet and awkward, so it's okay. All right, so the goal today for today's lesson is we're changing gears. We're doing something different. We're going to graph points and lines. You did this in 7th grade. You did this in 8th grade. And we're going to write an equation given a line. So we're going to review these skills so that you can do the new material, so you can learn the new material next week. All right, so let's do a couple of examples. All right, so we're going to review how to plot a point. All right, so you have your x-axis. Axis is just a word for line, linea. All right, so you have the x-axis, the x line, and then you have the y line. So here's your y-axis. And when you plot a point, you start at the point 0, 0, which is called the origin. So let's write that out. Origin. All right, so here's the origin. That's the point 0, 0. So you always start at the origin. So if you're going to plot the point 8, negative 3, the 8... So remember, you might already know this, but I'm teaching it as if you've never seen it. So this is your x value, or your x coordinate. Okay? And then here is your y value, or y coordinate. So your x coordinate always tells you to go left or right. Left if negative, right if positive. And the y value always tells you to go up or down. If it's negative, you're going to go down, and if it's positive, you're going to go up. So that's your point. Punto. All right. Sounds like a bad word, but it's not. Okay, so 8 tells me to go 8 spaces because it's positive, 8 to the right, and down 3 because it's negative. Boom, there is the point 8, comma, negative 3. All right, let's do another one. Skirt. Negative 4, 0. So you have negative 4 and 0 x value, y value. X value is negative, so I go to the left from the origin. I go left, and then 0 means I do not go up or down. So I only go left, and I plot my point. And that point is negative 4, comma, 0. X coordinate, y coordinate, 2 coordinates make a point. All right. Una más. 7, negative 7. 7 to the right, negative 7. Down. Boom. So you should feel pretty good about this. So that's just plotting a point. Got this. Okay. So graphing a point, you'll get into delta math, and you'll practice plotting points. Pretty easy, right? Fácil. All right, so we graph points. Boom, got it. Now, how do we graph a line? So we're going to review graphing a line. So here is our first example, the equation for the line. So let's do a quick recap. Remind. The equation for a line. This equation represents a line, and it's called slope intercept. Form. form just means the way it looks. So there's more than one equation for a line, but this is called slope-intercept because m, this number, is called the slope, and b, the constant, is called the y-intercept. So really, m tells you how steep the line is, whether it goes up, whether it goes down, and then the y-intercept kind of tells you where you cross the y-axis. So let's do an example. Okay, so 5. So the y-intercept is 5, the number, the constant by itself, the number, tells me where my line touches the y-axis, right? So the y-intercept is 5. So on the y-axis, the line touches this point. Intercept means to touch. So y-intercept means this is the value on the y-axis where this line touches it. Now, the slope, this is the tricky part. So the number in front of x, the coefficient, is 1 over 6. The slope is called rise over run. So rise means it's either going to go up or down. So the word rise is kind of misleading. If the number's positive, you're going to go up. If this number is negative, the fraction is negative, you're going to go down. But the number on the bottom is always to the right. So a slope of 1 over 6 means, let me use a different color. So the slope of 1 over 6 means I'm going to rise 1 and run 6 spaces. And I'll be back on my line. So there's my line. So just to recap, a quick review. We start with 5 on the y-axis, and then the slope is rise over run, up 1 over 6, boom, up 1 over 6, boom. Find as many points as you want on your line and draw your line. So this line represents this equation, and this equation represents this line. All right, let's do another example. So now we have 2 is my y-intercept. So I start at 2. My slope is negative 3 over 2. So the negative, put the negative on top if there's a negative. So remember, if this number is negative, I go down 3. And the number on the bottom always tells me to move to the right. So the slope of this line is down 3 over 2, starting at the y-axis on 2. So I'm going to go from this point, I'm going to go down 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, and over 2. Boom. Down 3 spaces, over 2. Boom. All of these points are on my line. And then I draw my line. And there it is. Okay? So the y-intercept, flecha. The y-intercept is 2. The slope is down 3. And to the right 2. That's my slope. All right, so let's actually do a demonstration, where we graph lines in Delta Math. All right, so let's look at, this is what the problems actually look like in Delta Math. So you're given the equation y equals negative x plus 3 in Delta Math. Okay, now this one's tricky because the y-intercept plus 3, that's pretty easy. We're going to start at 3. Okay, so the y-intercept is 3, pretty easy. And let me color code that red because we've been using red. So red. So we start at 3, easy. But here's where it gets tricky. The number in front of x is understood to be -1. So the slope is -1. Whatever the number is in front of x, that's your slope. But if it's not a fraction, and we've seen this before with dimensional analysis, those really long fraction problems. If you have a number in front of x, -x, that's understood to be -1, then you have to put it over 1. Okay, so just to give you another example, if you see y equals 3x plus 4, we know that. But 3 is the slope, so that means you have to write 3 over 1. Any number that's not a fraction, you put over 1 because 3 divided by 1 is 3. For slope only, not for y-intercept. So the slope is -1 over 1, which means we're going to go down 1 and to the right 1 from 3. So let's go back to delta math and let's work the problem. So the y-intercept is 3. Now the slope is -1 over 1, so that means I need to go down 1 over 1 and put a dot there, and it graphs the line for me. So you start at 3, and then you find the next point using the slope, and then, like always, we submit the problem, right? Boop. Are you sure you want to submit? Yes. And it says perfect, and then it gives you an explanation just like we just did, right? Start with the y-intercept. Start with the y-intercept of 3, and then the slope is -1 over 1. Okay? There we go. So let's try another one. Let's do one more and just see how we feel about it. Okay, so we've already done that. Let's skip that. New problem. Ooh, I like this one. Let's do this one. All right. Y-intercept is 2. Bam. Put a dot. Now, it's looking for another point, right? It wants me to find another point. But the slope is -2. That's -2 over 1, which tells me to go down 2 and over 1. Submit. Yes, I'm sure. Boom. Perfect. Let's do one more. We've already done that one. Let's try one that gives us a fraction. We've already done that one. Ooh, I like this one. All right. So the y-intercept is 4. Start at 4. The slope is 1 over 5, which means up 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So up 1 over 5. Y-intercept of 4. Submit. Yes. Boom. All right, guys. And then, of course, if you're not sure, you can always watch a video. That's the beauty of Delta Math, right? You can work as many problems as you want. It gives you an explanation. It teaches you. And then you can always watch a video for help. All right. So let's close that out. Now, real quick, you need to know about vertical and horizontal lines. So a vertical line just means a line that is straight up and down. Okay? And just to teach you, if it's a vertical line, so vertical means straight up and down. Let's just look at a point or two. So this point is 3, 4. So I want you to know that a line is just a lot of points. I mean, that's what it is. Let's look at a second point. This point is on the line, 3 and 1. Now you notice the x value is the same. So the equation for this vertical line is x equals 3. So I just want to make it clear, a vertical line always has an equation, x equals a number, always. So vertical lines are easy. Okay? Let's look at horizontal lines. So a horizontal line A horizontal line is always flat, left and right. Okay, so let's look at a horizontal line. So here is an example of a horizontal line. So let's look at this point and this point. So this point is 1, 7. And this point is 10, 7. They have the same y value. So a horizontal line is always y equals a number for the equation. Always. So a horizontal line is always y equals a number, and a vertical line is always x equals a number. Okay? But most equations for a line look like this. Oops. Okay? So just to be clear, most equations for a line, if they have a slope, so if they're going up or down like this, the equation is going to look like find the slope, find the y-intercept. But if it's a flat line, it's just y equals a number. That's the equation. If it's straight up and down, x equals a number. So there are basically, most equations look like this, but sometimes the equation looks like that. So there are basically 3 types of equations. All right, so let's do an example. Let's write an equation for a line. All right, so last skill. Can you write an equation given a graph? All right, so here's the goal. Y equals find the slope, x plus find the y-intercept. So you have to find b, which is the y-intercept, and you have to find m. So let's do the easy part. Find the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is 5. So, bow, easy peasy. But now we need to find the slope. So here's where you have to take any point. All these points are on my line. So you have a point here, point here, point here, point here. Any of these points. Watch this. Down 3 over 2. Down 3 over 2. Down 3 over 2. So the slope is down 3 over 2. So write the equation. The equation is y equals negative 3 over 2 x plus 5. Okay? Start with the y-intercept. Find the slope. Build the equation. All right, so let's go to Delta Math and let's practice a couple of these. All right, so we're going to write the equation of the line fully simplified slope-intercept form. That means the fraction. Whatever fraction we build has to be simplified, and we've practiced simplifying a fraction. So let's look at the equation and see if we can write. Look at the line and see if we can write the equation. All right, so let's work it. So the equation is y equals mx plus b. So the first thing I want to find is b. Now b is my y-intercept, so that is negative 7. So my b value is negative 7. Now we need to find the slope, though. Now the slope from this point to the next point is down 1 over 3. So my slope is down 1 over 3, and that's my final answer. Down 1 over 3, down 1 over 3. Let me submit. Am I sure? Yes. Green check. Beautiful. That means correct. And it shows me, now the computer did it differently. Delta Math went down 2 over 6. But remember, negative 2 over 6, we had that assignment where you had to simplify fractions. So negative 2 over 6 needs to be simplified. So the final answer is a slope of negative 1 over 3, and a y-intercept of negative 7. All right, let's try one more. Remember, you can always watch a help video. Let's try another one. New problem. All right, let's try this one. Last one to finish up. So 8 y equals something something x plus 8. So plus 8 because my y-intercept is 8. And then I want to get from this point to that point. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up 4 over 5. Cannot simplify, so that's my answer. Boom. And once again, they did it differently. They went from all the way over here to all the way over there. I would go at closest point, but if you go up 8 and over 10, up 8 over 10, you have to simplify, so be careful. So 4 over 5, the y-intercept is 8, and you write your equation, and that's it. So that is the lesson for today. You can graph a point, go to Delta Math and practice. You can graph a line, go to Delta Math and practice. All of this is in one assignment. Write an equation given a line, go to Delta Math and practice. So the name of the assignment is, the name of the assignment for this week, for this weekend, is called Unit 2, Graphing Points and Lines Review. Remember, this is a review of 7th grade and 8th grade, and starting next week we start new material. So good luck, and I will see you guys on Tuesday.